Hey gang, welcome to Yoga with Maria. I'm Maria and today we're practicing Yogi Squat pose, also known as Malasana. This is a request from one of you, one of my subscribers, so thank you, Ania, for letting me know you wanted to go deeper on this pose. This is a hip opener, so we do need a little bit of support for this one. Grab a blanket, I'm just using one from the couch, and grab a block, a thick book, or a little stool that's close to the ground would work really well for this too. So grab your things, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, hop on your mat, and let's get started. All right, yogis, come to your space, find a comfortable and stable seat on the floor with the ankles crossed or one heel in front of the other here on the floor. For some of us, it might be nice to elevate the seat a little bit so that the hips are over the knees. For what we're gonna do after this, a blanket or a pillow underneath just the back edge of your hips is gonna be a little bit better than a block. So get yourself set up, bring the hands to the tops of the knees, sit up tall, making sure that the shoulders stack over the hips. Let the eyes close just for a moment. And allow yourself to come into this space. Give yourself a beat to tune into the breath. Making a point to pause in your day and tune into your internal state. Nice, and then flutter the eyes open. We're gonna start with Sufi circles. It's simple. Everything on the bottom stays pretty much the same. Take the hands and lay them on the tops of the knees. And you're just gonna start to make circles. We'll start on the right side. You'll make circles with the chest, really. But the whole torso is circling. Yeah, kind of like you're stirring a big soup pot with the spine as kind of your spoon. And you might begin to make the circles a little bit bigger. If you want to close your eyes or make any noises, you're welcome to do that. Whether you're alone at home or not, this time is for you, so just use it the way that you want to use it. Keep breathing, make sure that you're staying with your breath here. And so along the way with these circles, if you feel any stickiness in the hips, you might pause and kind of work that spot almost as if you had a rag and you're trying to get that stuck pasta off the bottom of the pot. You kind of stay on that spot and rub on it for a second. So you could do that here as well. Take about 3 more circles. And then we'll pause at the top and just take it the other way. Nice. Might start with smaller circles. Try to keep the legs on the mat. They might move a little bit. Try to keep the knees pointing down towards the mat and let the movement come from the upper body, and then you might start to make these bigger. Same thing going this way. If you find any sticky spots, you can stay with them a little bit longer, see if you can work them out, or just really for the sake of noticing what you're working with, what's there. Good, and then take 3 more, just warming up the hips before we come straight into our Yogi Squat or Malasana. It's always good to give a little warm up and then come back to the top. From here, the knees are gonna go a little bit wider and you're gonna bring the soles of the feet to the mat. You're gonna bring the soles of the feet to touch. And you want the heels to be pulled in towards your groin or towards the hips as much as you can. Hands come to the inner edge of the feet and then pull the elbows in towards the sides. Most of us probably called this butterfly in the past in gym class. It's called Baddha Konasana in yoga speak. Just lift the chest, let the shoulders roll back. Some of us, this is enough. You might stay here. Some of us will be able to fold forward a little bit. Should feel a nice opening in the inner seams of the legs and the hips. You can even tuck the chin a little bit so that the back of the neck is long. Just folding here. You might make little rocking movements side to side. And you're certainly welcome to elevate the hips more if you need to here. Take one more breath in and out. And then slowly rise up to stand. Take the hands on the outer edges of the knees and help yourself pull the knees in towards center. It's a pretty big opening for the hips and the inner legs, so do that. And then we'll move the blanket to the side. Hands come towards the front of your space or your mat and just lift the hips up for downward facing dog. You could pedal out the feet a little for a moment here. And then we're just going to keep it moving and walk the feet towards the front of the mat where our hands are. Separate the feet a little bit. Let the arms hang heavy. Let the head fall heavy just for a moment. You can sway side to side. Gentle on the hamstrings here so the knees can be bent. No need to find your deepest stretch or overstretch in any way. Good, and then plant down into the feet. Find stillness in the legs and just slowly roll yourself up with bent knees. The head will be the last to stack on top. Just for good measure, you can take a couple shoulder rolls. It always feels natural and good at the top for me. From here, left foot steps back behind you. Just gonna find a nice wide stance with the legs. And then check out the toes. Make sure all 10 toes are facing forward the same way that you're looking. And then arms reach up. And then we'll just fold over the legs. Bring the hands to your mat. You could also bring the hands to blocks, or if you have something to elevate, or you can just tent the fingers. From here, you're just gonna bend into the right knee. Keep both heels down onto the mat. Come back through center and bend into the left knee. We're gonna move through this a few more times, just making our way to the right. Taking a moment in center and then taking it to the left. Once again, just continuing to open the inner seams of the legs. Nice. Stay with your breath. Keep breathing. So nice. And then come back to center. You're going to heel toe the feet in towards one another. It can be about 12 inches, or excuse me, 2 feet or 24 inches. And then you'll grab your block or two and place it underneath the seat. You could do 2 blocks for a bigger setting, or if you wanted them on the highest setting, 2 blocks together might be nice. And then from here, make sure the toes are turned just slightly out so that when you bend into the knees track over the toes. So we're just going to start out in our Yogi Squat or Malasana with the seat on the block. Notice here too that you could also do this in a chair. If this is too deep for the hips, grab a chair and take the knees wide. The key here is making sure that the knees are over the toes and that the knees are spread wide so that you can start to open up the inner seams of the legs and the hips. And then from here, our knees might be a little bit too far apart to touch the hands in front of the heart, so we'll save that for another variation. Just take the forearms to the inner knees and press the forearms into the knees so that they can continue to spread a little bit wider. This will naturally allow the chest to broaden, so allow that to happen. And then you might close the eyes here and breathe. tune in, notice how your body's feeling. This might be your yogi squat pose, and it's fantastic. If you want to take this a little bit deeper, we'll go there now. There's a lot of ways, so you can take this higher with the chair, you could take this lower with the block. So let me just show you on our way down. You could take one block on the medium setting and place it underneath the hips. In that case, the heels will probably need to come and the feet need to come a little bit closer together. And here we can take the elbows and press them to the inner knees and then press the hands together and use the pressing of the hands to spread the knees a little bit wider and find the lift in the chest. Cool. Once we take the block away completely, if you're wanting a deeper variation, the hips sit even lower and we'll still be able to find hands touching in front of the heart, press the knees away. All of these variations are correct. Whichever one you choose along the way, let the eyes close and breathe. If you are in this position but you feel like the heels are really wanting to come up, another option is to set up your blanket or your pillow, and you can just elevate the heels a little bit onto the blanket or the pillow, and that can give you, we do want the heels pressing down to the floor. But if they're not there yet, bring the floor a little bit up to you so that you have something to press down into. And eventually the heels will come to the ground with practice. I always say, practice makes progress. And that's all that we're looking for in yoga. We're just looking to do these postures over and over again, keeping the body healthy. It's not really about exactly how the pose lands in the end. Great, I'm gonna show you one more variation. We'll leave the blanket here so that we can put a blanket underneath the heels as well. For this one, we'll just lift the hips up and heel toe the feet together. So we're gonna bring the inner edges of the feet to touch, and then we'll bend the knees a lot and the knees will go wide. Most of us, our heels are gonna lift up off the mat. Mine are lifted enough that they're not even really touching the blanket. The knees are gonna go wide. And then you'll walk the hands forward. The hips will sink back. And then the arms reach forward. You can let the head fall heavy. This is also Yogi Squat or Malasana pose. Just a slightly different variation. The arms can reach forward, or you can reach the hands underneath the shins and reach for the backs of the heels. It's a little bit more of a forward fold. Take another breath wherever you are, in and out. Take the hands to the mat. You'll lift the hips just for a moment. Heel to the feet, just hip width distance, and fold. You can grab opposite elbows and sway side to side, front to back. Good, and then take the hands to the mat. We'll come back to our seat. Find the seat that you took at the beginning. Sit up tall, let the eyes close one more time. Just notice how your body feels different than when we started this video. Notice any differences in the breath and even your state of mind. Take the hands to touch in front of the heart, tuck the chin. Namaste, yogis. If you'd like to continue opening the hips, check out my video for frog pose right here on YouTube. It's a great one to do right after Yogi Squat. It'll continue to open the hips in a nice, progressive, safe way. So check it out and I'll see you there.